Hello, Clint here, Crimson Landscape, here to talk about your front yard landscape design. Alrighty. So with the concrete, I just did the light part of the concrete. We'll get a final measurement when on site to determine the final square footage. Make sure it's all up to code when we install it as well. It's one of those things, if we find a section that's cracked, we'll just go to the next section until we hit a good joint. We'll cut everything at the joint as per code. Alright, so on the front, I took out all these trees in the front. I think it'll definitely brighten up the space once you take those crepe myrtles out. This big crepe myrtle here as well, I took it out. You could technically keep it, but I would definitely get rid of it. Those crepe myrtles of the street should be pretty easy to get out. This crepe myrtle over here is pretty mature crepe myrtle, so that stump will be a booger. I also took out those trees on the other side, and I moved the Japanese maple that you have over to the right side. I'm going to move these trees out of the way temporarily, just these two trees here, just so you can see the space. Let me move these up. Okay, I'll put them back in a second. Alright, so I start on the left hand side. So I have this corner over here. I know this is a non-functioning gate, at least I think it is. So Brattleby Spreas, I have some Nandinas, Mondo grass in front, Dwarf Burford hollies in the back. I have these spaced out a little bit wider than normal, just so it don't look so full. I would just make sure you stay on top of keeping them trimmed every year so they don't get too big. Same thing with the Yopon hollies. I'm trying to keep things very evergreen, easy to maintain, low cost. That's why these plants were selected. I could go with hydrangeas in the back if you want to spend a little bit more money on those. In the front, I have variegated liripe, hosta. I did the silvery color if we can find it. Bamboo Nandina, just because it gets tall. And I'm repeated the right side as same as the left, hosta, variegated liripe. But in the back, I did wood ferns, or we could do holly ferns, your choice. I moved that Japanese maple you had on the left side. I moved it to the right side, and I centered it on this window because it was a little off symmetry. So now I have it lined up with symmetry. Then I repeated what was on the far left. I repeated on the far right. So you have the dwarf Burfords in the back, Yopons. We could do hydrangeas in the back if you wanted. And again, we could do a different kind of hosta here, maybe a variegated hosta or two-tone hosta. One thing I want to assess is once we get those trees out, I want to just kind of assess the sun and see how much sun's coming in there. If a little bit too much sun's coming in here, I'll swap these hostas out for something else. Maybe a spirea. I kept the tree rings in place. As you notice, I built everything off the tree rings. In the same side, the right side, far right is similar to the far left. These are Nandinas and Mondo grass. Then I just did a mulch ring around the trees on the side, mulch ring around the trees. Then I did the Brattleby Spreas again down the side. It's a really good shrub. It gets kind of large, easy to maintain. Then giant liripe in the corner. Side of the yard over here, a lot of dead space over here. Grass is certainly not going to grow. We'll just do a simple river rock over here or something that would match what you have there. Just all we're trying to do is cover up the space, mitigate erosion, and make it look halfway decent. All right. Then anywhere where grass is damaged, we certainly can come through and repair the St. Augustine. It'll be a price per square foot to repair the St. Augustine in your yard. But I would do the concrete first. I would do the landscape, then see how much grass needs to be repaired. All right. Let me bring the lights back, or correction, the trees back in to show you the lights. We drop these in. Awesome. Okay. So if you look at the lights, you have the lights along the house, lights in the tree, along the house and on the tree, then down the side of the house for security, then one in the back. The beauty of the lights is you can add as many as you want. We just have to size the transformer accordingly with what makes sense. I think lights are a must. Big fan of them. Last thing we can do, if you are absolutely want something a little bit higher end, we can do a concrete pattern on this part of your concrete. I don't know if it makes a big difference for your particular property. Not that one. Let's pick on. Let's just give a two-tone. How about that one? Yeah. So if you want like a concrete pattern, I don't know that really makes a difference. One other thing you could do is I have the sidewalk at 4 feet wide. We could go 5 feet wide. Let me take it back. I think the regular concrete probably makes sense. We can make it 5 feet wide up to the street, make this little pad 5 feet wide as well. If you want a little bit grander, it's currently at 4 feet wide. All right, so that is a design. Let me do a couple different angles here. Oh, one last thing, if you notice, is I have, when it's a shaded landscape, I group colors together for the simple fact at distance in a shaded landscape, it's harder to see like onesie, twosie plants. So what we do is we generally group plants together to give that pop of color at distance, because since you don't have the full sunlight, so that's why you have the variegated liripe, you have the hostas and the ferns all grouped together like that. So it gets that color density at distance in a darker landscape. All right, let me pause there. Have any questions, drop me an email, or we can set up a Zoom call as next steps to go over the details. If you're a first-time guest checking out one of our videos, you can go to our website at crimsonlandscape.com.